What is up, guys? Today I'm here to speak with you about the addiction to food. Not only food, but actually to chips. You see, we all love chips to some extent, but the reason you love them more than you actually should has a very malevolent idea behind it. Marketing companies are marketing and messaging to your subconscious mind more than you know it. And today we're going to expose some of those tricks, some of those things that they do to get you to love food more than you actually should. Inside of the Empty Your Bucket plan, we view food not just as a way to get to a metric or weigh a certain thing, but we actually see it under the lens of addiction. Addiction is a heavy word that we generally look at in terms of alcohol, drugs, things of that nature, but rarely do we speak about food as a drug. And if you ask me, I would probably say that drugs are things like the things you know that you get high on, the things you drink, but food is actually one of the most overused drugs in the world. And the reason for that, we love it, we do it around the people we love, we care. Anytime that we get a break, that's usually what we do, is we eat something, and this all creates emotional anchors and things that really connect us more at an emotional level to these foods than anything else. We're going to be speaking about emotional anchors as well, but before I get into it, I want to take you as far back as 1980 when Michael Jackson was one of the most popular people on earth, and his songs were everywhere. And so Pepsi caught on to this. The brand Pepsi caught on to the idea that everyone had their eyeballs on Michael Jackson, and they wanted some of that attention. And so what they did, they paid Michael Jackson millions of dollars to sing his song as he was doing his moonwalk and carrying a Pepsi can. Guess what? Their sales skyrocketed. And I truly believe that that was the catalyst to what we see nowadays in the NBA, NFL, and all the different sports where a lot of these athletes are being paid millions and millions of dollars by Sprite and all the big companies to attach their name to their particular brand because there's an emotional anchor behind what these athletes represent to us. So when you look at guys like LeBron James and they go on news conferences and they're in meetings and they're in front of the public eye, they usually have specific attire, clothes, things that they're wearing. And we think the best of it. We always think, well, that's the hat he decided to wear. That's the shirt he decided to wear. Think again. The hat that they're wearing most likely was given to them by the brand that they promote. And what happens is if Nike gives them a hat and they wear it to a press conference, what happens the next day is that hat it's impossible to find it because everyone picks it up, everyone buys it. That's the whole idea behind subconscious messaging and creating an anchor to sort of an idol that we have in the society, like one of these athletes or one of these singers or one of these people that we pay so much attention to. Brands want to pay them thousands and millions of dollars at a time so that the eyeballs that they're getting from the attention of their work is actually put onto their product, aligned with their product. And so an emotional anchor is simply a strong emotion that is anchored in our nervous system anytime something good or bad happens. And so oftentimes the way we see the world is through our senses, our sight, our taste, our smell, our touch, our auditory senses, right? This is how we perceive the world, and this is how we make sense of things. And so some of you guys are more visual. Some of you guys have more gustatory senses, meaning your taste, smell, your olfactory is more acute than other senses. Maybe for you it's kinesthetic, touch, or maybe for you it's auditory. The way you hear things is the way you actually perceive and see the world. So it's interesting to understand this because anytime an emotion is deep rooted in you, if it's visual, you're seeing in your memory that thing very clear, very close, and therefore that emotion is very vivid in you, right? And so if it's a bad emotion, you're going to experience more of that emotion. So I'm going to show you how to minimize some of these cues, some of these emotional anchors so that they don't have so much power over you, okay? So if it's a visual stimulation that's coming in the form of a memory, and it's really vivid in your emotions, you're probably visualizing it in a very colorful, very close way. So really all you have to do in your memory, remember this is in your mind, is push that image away, right? And dim it, and automatically it loses its power, its grip over you. The more tempting, the more triggering an event to you, once again, the more rich that emotion is, and whatever it is in your senses that you're actually seeing that particular, or hearing or feeling or tasting or smelling that particular trigger, right? So let's say, for example, how do we twist these things around, right? Instead of being manipulated by them, how do we use them so that we can market to ourselves the things that we actually want to do, right? So instead of saying, for example, I really hate meal prepping, right? It's tedious. It's hard for me to get to. It's just never convenient. I'm always so busy. How about next time it's time to meal prep? And maybe you've realized that you are more of an auditory person, that you actually throw on your earphones, you throw on your favorite podcast, your Audible, an audio book, and you actually meal prep. While you meal prep, you're actually listening to a thing you enjoy. So you're taking a positive emotion with one that has a little bit of resistance, and you're joining those. And then what happens is it becomes a lot easier to do. If this is happening, for example, in terms of, let's say that you love chips, right? Chips are one of those things that I hear oftentimes in my program where people say, JT, can I just have something crunchy? And listen to how crazy this is and how almost kind of malevolent this idea is. Chips can be made without the crunch, but these brands understand that the crunch, that audio stimulation that's happening between your jaws, your ears, your head, when you're crunching, is creating an audible emotional anchor in you, okay? So that crunch and that taste is being connected to your emotions as something very positive. So the need for you to do something crunchy, it's not so much about the taste, but it's actually the sound that has been anchored to your emotions and your gustatory senses, and that has created a very powerful emotional anchor in you. So down below in the description, I'm gonna post a link to a YouTube video. This is gonna sound a little weird, but I need you to play all out. And it is an audio of just crunching, okay? So what I'd like for you to do, if you love chips, right, and you have a hard time eating healthier food, I want you to put on some earphones. I need you to play all out with me, okay? Put some earphones in. And I actually want you to grab your healthy food. And as you're eating your healthy food, I want you to play this particular audio that I have in the description down below, which is just the crunch noise, right? And as you're eating your food, your good food that you sort of have a harder time to eat, I want you to hear this crunch happening. Now, this is weird, I get it, but listen, I need you to play all out, because if you do, you're gonna see some massive benefits from anchoring that crunching noise that generally comes from chips onto your healthy meal, right? These are, as my clients say, my Jedi tricks to get people to actually eat well. But I'm telling you right now, we've taken couch potatoes, people that have never been on diets or workout plans or anything like that, and we've made them into super potatoes in no time. How? With little hacks and tricks just like this. If you have a hard time working out, I want you to create a bucket list of your favorite songs and listen to your favorite songs as you work out. You're doing something very desirable, something that you're very receptive to, with something that sort of you have some resistance towards, right? Like working out. We all do. I've been working out for years, and yet I always have to give myself a pep talk to get to the gym. And so what we have to do is we have to market to our brain in a way that our brain becomes receptive to that thing. If you have a hard time doing cardio, but maybe in your value system, education is huge, right? You feel like you always have to be reading or researching or reading an article or that sort of thing, then fine. In your cardio time, what I want you to do is get an audiobook, right? Get a podcast, get a YouTube video, right? Feel like you're getting educated, but at the same time, you're activating your physiology. And once again, you're taking something that you love to do, like studying, for example, and you're tying it into something that is a little bit more difficult to get to, or where there's a little bit more resistance, like cardio, and you're joining those two things. And little by little, you start creating emotional anchors that are positive. And next thing you know, you don't have to exert all this energy to get these things done. These things just naturally happen because what you've done is you've marketed in your own brain towards the things that you know you should be doing that are beneficial to you. So my friend, these are my Jedi tricks, how to basically overcome addiction, how to actually take malevolent idea of chips and the crunch, and how to activate that towards another area that right now may have some resistance towards you. Do me a favor, if this makes sense, I want you to leave some comments down below to tell me if this makes sense to you, or if it's absolutely just craziness. I want to hear it anyway. I'd love to hear your comments. My name is JT Tapias, professional fitness life coach with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. And if you enjoyed this video, my friend, you're absolutely going to love this video here. Check it out. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.